A transit of Uranus trining your natal Juno is a beautiful, liberating, and harmoniously transformative period that radically upgrades your approach to committed partnerships, marriage, and long-term agreements. Occurring only a few times in a human lifespan due to Uranus's slow 84-year orbit, this alignment forms a flowing 120-carat/circ aspect of supreme opportunity between the planet of radical awakening, independence, and unconventional innovation, Uranus, and the asteroid that governs soulmate contracts, marital commitment, and the profound psychological dynamics of shared devotion, Juno. Unlike the jarring disruptions or sudden ruptures that accompany a Uranus square or opposition, the trine acts as a wide-open cosmic window. It injects a fresh, electric current of freedom and excitement into your existing relationship structures, allowing you to rewrite the rules of your commitments so they align with your most authentic, liberated self, entirely without burning down the foundations you have built. The alchemy of the trine, breathing new life into the sacred contract. To fully grasp the magic of this transit, one must look at the fascinating synthesis between Uranus and Juno. Juno represents our deep, intrinsic need for a loyal, equal partnership. It is the archetype of the devoted spouse who seeks safety, mutual respect, and a formal binding of paths. Uranus, conversely, is the ultimate cosmic rebel, demanding absolute personal sovereignty, nonconformity, and continuous evolution. When Uranus trines Juno, these two seemingly opposing forces strike a perfect, elegant compromise. The universe grants you permission to revolutionize your relationship dynamics with absolute ease. If you are currently in a long-term commitment or marriage, this transit acts as an antidote to stagnation. The heavy weight of routine, domestic predictability, or unspoken resentment that may have settled over your partnership simply lifts, replaced by an influx of fresh energy, intellectual stimulation, and mutual curiosity. Because the trine facilitates a smooth flow of energy, any progressive changes you propose, such as taking separate vacations, starting an unconventional business venture together, or redefining your domestic roles, are met with a surprising level of enthusiasm and openness from your partner. You discover that commitment does not have to feel like a cage, and that true intimacy actually expands when both individuals are given the breathing room to grow independently. The liberation of the partner, unconventional alignments, and magnetism. For those who are single or seeking partnership, a Uranus-Juno trine acts as a powerful energetic homing beacon, radically shifting the types of romantic connections you attract. Your old checklist for what constitutes a safe, traditional partner completely dissolves. You find yourself magnetically drawn to individuals who are highly unusual, fiercely independent, brilliant, or operating completely outside your typical social and cultural circles. You might fall into a fated relationship with an eccentric artist, a cutting-edge tech innovator, a progressive humanitarian, or someone with an alternative lifestyle. These encounters often happen in sudden, highly synchronistic ways: a chance meeting at an airport, an unexpected digital connection, or an out-of-the-blue introduction through mutual friends. Because this is a trine, these whirlwind romances do not destabilize your life, instead, they feel intensely liberating. You are introduced to a new paradigm of relating where codependency is entirely absent, replaced by a deep soul recognition that celebrates your absolute freedom. Realignment of values, the architecture of equality and fairness. On a deeper psychological level, Juno rules the balance of power within partnerships. Under the electric influence of the Uranus trine, your internal operating system regarding relationship fairness undergoes a massive upgrade. You develop an ambient, beautiful intolerance for power imbalances, manipulation, or traditional gender roles that suppress your individuality. However, instead of fighting these imbalances through dramatic confrontations, you intuitively know how to renegotiate your boundaries with calm, unshakable authority. You easily implement fairer divisions of labor, modern communication styles, and a profound emotional detachment that allows you to see your partner objectively as a whole, sovereign human being rather than an extension of your own emotional needs. You learn the high art of loving with a wide-open hand, realizing that the strongest contracts are those written not in the ink of societal obligation, but in the transparent fluid of mutual freedom and unconditional respect. The ultimate integration, standing together in the open sky. Ultimately, the enduring gift of transiting Uranus trine your natal Juno is the permanent elevation of your relational frequency, the liberation of legal contracts, and the modernization of alliances. As the harmonious trine between transiting Uranus and your natal Juno matures, its liberating influence extends beyond the realm of romantic partnerships and plunges straight into the architecture of your professional alliances, legal contracts, and collaborative agreements. In astrology, while Juno is deeply tied to marriage, it fundamentally governs any binding, long-term vow or contract where two equal parties merge their resources and fates. When Uranus projects its innovative, future-oriented rays into this space, it acts as a catalyst for professional liberation, allowing you to rewrite the rules of your business engagements with absolute ease. During this period, you are gifted with a sudden influx of opportunities to form highly progressive, out-of-the-box business partnerships. You may find yourself entering into ventures that rely on cutting-edge technologies, decentralized models, or unconventional profit-sharing systems. Because the trine facilitates a smooth, frictionless flow of energy, any radical pivot you make in your contractual life, such as breaking away from a restrictive corporate contract to form an independent freelance collective, or introducing an entirely automated, modern system into a partnership, is met with surprising enthusiasm and cooperation from the other party. Gatekeepers, co-founders, and legal advisors tend to view your progressive ideas not as erratic, disruptive behavior, but as refreshing, visionary strategy. You intuitively know how to pitch modern, flexible arrangements in a way that feels exciting rather than threatening, allowing you to secure unprecedented levels of professional autonomy while still maintaining the rock-solid backing of a loyal alliance. The awakening of the intellectual tribe and the pruning of toxic dependency. On a social and psychological level, Uranus trining your natal Juno radically expands, elevates, and cleanses the networks through which you seek emotional security. Juno has a well-known shadow side. When threatened with isolation, it can default to codependency, tolerate manipulation, or cling to toxic relationships out of a desperate fear of abandonment. As Uranus infuses this sensitive astrological point with its high-frequency electricity, it ruthlessly but gently shatters these defensive, fear-based patterns. You develop an ambient, beautiful indifference to the expectations of traditional society regarding how your relationships should look. The superficial connections and transactional partnerships that once fed your need for safety naturally lose their appeal, replaced by an influx of unique individuals who challenge your intellect and honor your independence. You may find yourself joining progressive groups or creative collectives dedicated to forward-thinking ideals, discovering that these collaborative networks provide a deep, refreshing sense of belonging that traditional structures never could. This phase is characterized by a beautiful collaborative synergy. You learn how to maintain absolute personal sovereignty while participating fully in a joint venture. You learn the high art of aligning with others through shared vision rather than shared obligation, establishing a matrix of supportive connections that will continue to elevate your life path long after the transit has passed. The somatic upgrade, relational nervous system recalibration. Psychologically and physically, a Uranus-Juno trine acts as a profound somatic upgrade, rewiring the electrical pathways of your relational nervous system. Juno governs the physical and emotional vulnerabilities we experience when we bind ourselves to another person, including the instinctual trauma responses, contractions, and anxieties that trigger when we fear losing our partner or our autonomy. Uranus, operating as high-voltage cosmic energy, infuses this relational matrix with a cool, objective, and deeply healing clarity. If you have historically suffered from chronic relationship anxiety, hypervigilance, or a general sense of emotional depletion caused by carrying the psychological weight of your partners, this transit triggers a sudden, spontaneous reversal of those conditions. Your nervous system is taught to regulate itself through a healthy dose of emotional detachment. You quite literally lighten up in how you relate to others. You discover the ability to hold space for a partner's distress or evolution without absorbing their chaotic energy into your own physical container. By allowing this high-frequency energy to flow through your heart center without resistance, you build a stronger, more resilient emotional body that is fully capable of hosting deep, passionate devotion without ever sacrificing your vital life force energy or peace of mind to the shadows of codependency. The arrival of the sovereign partner, walking the quantum path together.